Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Davis,
I'm David,
and we're 2 Men in a Truck.
and this is a podcast.
And we're not in a truck.
No.
As most of our videos, we are not in a truck. We are still on our West Coast area tour. We are currently in Utah,
Kanab, Utah, yeah.
Kanab, Utah. This is the second podcast that we're shooting out here, but it's the third location that we're shooting at. So here we are in Kanab, Utah. Very pretty. A lot more green than the other two spots we've shot at.
Yeah, elevation of probably around 4,500 feet where we're at right now.
Yeah, so a good bit different
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, yesterday we were shooting at 8,000 feet, so it was up there a good bit.
Could hardly breathe. My piss turned to air as soon as it came out, man. It was all misty.
It was tough. Like we went on a hike and coming back was rough climbing that hill at 8,000 feet. When you're used to like an elevation of nothing, like 10 feet, it can be pretty hard.
Yeah, it was a challenge for sure. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. You want to talk about the museum a little bit that we just saw?
Yeah, that was a really cool museum. It was the Moki Cave. So it was a group of Native Americans that lived in this area, and I think they inhabited that cave as well as another cave about, what did they say, 1,500 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So they dispersed about 1,500 years ago, and they joined the Hopi and the Navajo tribes. The Moki split up and kind of joined those. But yeah, the museum was really cool. They had a lot of awesome stuff in the cave. So amazing temperature in there apparently year round. But dinosaur footprints, the tracks were pretty epic. The dude has tried, like he's the guy who created that little museum was from Utah, and he traveled all over Utah collecting different artifacts and dinosaur footprints and stuff like that, and brought them all there. So he actually like cut them out of the stone and brought them there and installed them. So we probably saw, I would say, 20 different sets of tracks of dinosaur tracks.
And they were pretty sizable tracks too. It wasn't like nothing too little. A lot of them were like pretty solid size.
Yeah, some of them were, maybe a little bit smaller than a human foot currently, but then a lot of them were probably, I would say, almost the size of an elephant foot, maybe a little bit bigger. So that was pretty cool. And then they had an insane amount of UV reactive stones from across the country, and even some from outside the country, right?
Yeah, there were a lot in Canada. Alaska's in the country, but it's by Canada.
So it was mostly North American continent.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say they probably had like 150 different specimens of stone that was UV reactive. So that was pretty cool. My favorite was by far, what was it? The something slag.
Yeah.
Not uranium slag. Atomic slag.
Yep.
Yeah, from West Virginia. That one was pretty cool looking. So
they should have put that in Fallout 76.
Yeah. So and then we found a really cool opal knife that we bought. So it was an opal stone that they had turned into a knife, kind of like the Native Americans would have done, with an antler handle. And we would show that off in the podcast, but Felicia just went for a hike, and since we're flying out here, we didn't bring any weapons, and that was the only weapon we could give her as she went on her hike. So she took that.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, no AKs allowed on the plane. They're a little bit finicky about that. I don't know.
Yeah, we probably could have checked it. I don't think they would have let us bring it in our carry-on luggage.
Yeah, probably. No bazookas either.
Yeah.
Very, very boring. Another interesting part of the museum was the history of it. So the guy who made it back in like the 1950s, his grandfather lived here. And in Utah, if you don't know, there is a massive Mormon population. That guy was Mormon, and he had 6 wives.
And 35 kids.
55 kids.
55 kids.
55 kids across 6 wives, which is insane.
Dude, I can't even imagine. Like there is no father-son relationship there. Those guys don't even know each other.
Yeah, literally none. Yeah, it was. I mean, dude, that's so many family members that are like direct family members. Like you can kind of avoid like your extended family. You have to hang out with those people.
Yeah. Okay, so like I could get like on board with a second wife if she's hot.
Yeah.
I saw the photo. Like they got a family photo. They weren't hot. All like the guys and the girls. He did a all daughters and an all sons photo. Dude, there was, I don't know how you can have 6 different wives and your kids still look inbred. That was weird.
It was strange for sure. Yeah. They weren't great looking people for sure.
No, I wasn't impressed. Everybody did seem to have really light eyes, like probably blue eyes, but they had crazy facial features, man. Like
They were also like really like dark eye, like they were very in
they
like
were sunk in.
concave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
sunken.
they were really set back. Um, and all of the women had like really square masculine faces and jaws, and
Which that was just more common back then as well.
I don't know. Yeah, well, those ladies were they wouldn't be on anybody's top 10 list these days. I can tell you that.
Uh, yeah, they were, dude. I don't know if I could live with 6 wives, dude. I'd kill myself.
That's a lot. Yeah, I can't imagine that they all like stay in the same house.
And they're all synced up too,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. I mean, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at that point you just are kind of doing your own thing and you've got like 6 houses maybe, and each of them has their own little family, and you just kind of bop around. Because I mean, what do you got, like an entire hotel when you got 55
Dude.
kids and 6 wives? I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, dude.
the Best Western probably can't even house that many people.
Yeah, what's that? 62 people?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Dude, that's so many. Ugh.
Pass.
Yeah, I'm okay. But yeah, so it's been pretty interesting. A lot of cool stuff that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a really nice trip. What else did we see? We went into like a little town. What's the name of this place?
Kanab?
Kanab. So we went to Kanab, the actual like city part of it. And it's a cute little town. They had a little museum, which was a lot less cool as the other one. It was supposed to be like old like Western. It's what they actually used to film in for some Westerns, but they were just like little crappy houses.
Yeah, it wasn't very impressive. A lot of it was pretty dilapidated. Yeah, they call it Little Hollywood Museum, and it was nice. I will say it was voluntary donation, so it's not like you spent a ton of money for it. The really cool Moki Museum was only, what was it, $7 a head, which
Yeah.
was, I thought, crazy cheap for all the cool stuff they had in it. Like
Yeah.
it was, I've always been like really interested in fossils and stuff like that. I mean, man, it had a lot of neat stuff for $7. I mean, $20, and that's like half the places in Vegas. That's like a beer. So
Yeah.
for the price of a beer, we all got to go see something really cool.
Yeah, it was super neat. I was very impressed. But yeah, so it's been a nice little trip. They also,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything else amazing since shooting yesterday. After we shot yesterday, so I'm so glad we shot the podcast before, because afterwards we would have been dead. Like that
Oh,
hike,
yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, it's a nice little 0.8 mile hike. I don't know if they meant like vertically it's 0.8 miles or what, but we hiked for at least an hour.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, we can't finish. Like we looked at the map, we finally got a marker, and we like a marker on the trail, and we're like, okay, we're 1/5 of the way done with this thing.
It was insane.
And then we're like, we just got to go, because it was going to be dark.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't have finished that thing. I felt like it was a lot. I know that we had, what was it, 800 feet in elevation change according to Felicia's iWatch.
Mhm.
So yeah, that 800 feet and down the mountainside, it was really cool. We walked through the hoodoos, which are these just massive stalactite looking things that stretch 50 or 100 feet up in the air, and that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But man, I was beat after that. I was done.
Yeah, I think we were all pretty tired after that.
Yeah, it's the elevation change, and of course where we live, any movement is on flat ground. So changing that much elevation, like what is the max elevation in Florida, like 223 feet?
I think that's it. Yeah.
And we literally call that Mount something, like not Mount Vernon. I don't remember what it's called. But in Florida, it's like, oh, that's 200 foot high. We're gonna put Mount on the start of that little tiny city's name.
Yeah.
Here, people have 200 feet of elevation change in their yard.
Yeah. They're like, oh look, it's a little asteroid, little asteroid dirt spot right there.
Yeah, it's wild.
Uh,
And still a lot of cool places to come from. So hopefully we're gonna be able to shoot a little bit of a podcast from the asteroid crash site from 20,000 years ago, and we'll have some slightly more informed information when we talk about that one, instead of the stupid rambling that we do where we don't actually know the facts.
yeah. No, we're definitely gonna be doing more stupid rambling. I promise
Well,
you.
we're gonna get that in too, of course. I'm sure.
We're gonna do a good mix of both. So, at the place we're staying, which is really close to Zion, there's a pool. So there's a pool at the hotel, and there's also a hot tub. And how cold was it last night? It was pretty cold. It was pretty chilly.
Yeah. So last night was a little bit colder. I would probably say that we were in the mid to low 50s, probably.
Which isn't that crazy. But the pool is like barely heated. So it is like slightly heated, but very minimally. So there's nobody in the pool. But the hot tub had 20 people in it.
Oh,
And
really?
it's a small hot tub. It had 20 freaking people in it. And I wanted to ask you, how many people need to be in a hot tub before you all contract an STD together?
So, well, first of all, you need at least one person with an STD.
Are you sure? I feel like in a hot tub, you just like make a new one. Y'all are like
You
brewing a
might.
new one up in there.
You might be able to pull that off. But yeah, hot tubs are like the 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 proving grounds for most bacteria. They're very disgusting. They're very gross. They're very dirty. People die from being in hot tubs every single year. I will not get in a hot tub with other people that I do not know. And if I do know them, I've got to like really know them well. Like I've had buddies who have had hot tubs, and um, I'm gonna throw it out there, but my buddy Evan had one in New Jersey, and we went up there one time and we were all hanging out, and like everybody's in the hot tub, and I'm just like chilling on the outside of it.
Yep.
Like I'm not getting in the hot tub. No offense to any of those people, man. I mean, I love them all like brothers and sisters, but I'm not gonna get in the hot tub with 8 or 10 people and be like close to other bodies. It's just
Yeah.
you're in human soup. Pass.
Mhm.
Not gonna do it.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Only in India.
Unless there's so much chlorine that it's gonna bleach our clothes, and like you feel the top layer of your skin peel off, and like
Yeah.
all your hair is blonde afterwards. I'm not getting in there.
Yeah. At that point, you like can't have kids anymore. If there's that much chlorine in the pool, you don't have an STD, you have the exact opposite. Okay.
you
You're
might be able to,
sterile after that.
you might be able to have kids, but there's probably gonna be something wrong with them. They're gonna come out with alopecia. And what was that? It's an old movie where the guy, they used to call him like Cotton or something, but he was like really, or Powder maybe. Do you know? I think they called him Powder. It's a really old reference, and it's gonna have the picture right up here.
No, it's not. I promise you it's not.
Dude,
I'm editing this. It's
throw the
not.
picture up.
I don't even know what you're talking about, man.
You don't have to Google it. That no one else will know what I'm talking about either.
The kids all come out albino.
Yeah, that's basically I think what he was some sort of albino thing. Albino alopecia.
Ugh.
Yeah, no to the hot tub. Won't be in the hot tub tonight either.
But the regular pool maybe, depending on how late we get there.
Yeah, today's a lot warmer. Like it's surprisingly. Yesterday when we were shooting, we were frigid.
Yeah, if you listen to that podcast or saw some of the clips of it, we were sniffling the entire time.
It was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were at 8,000 feet. Today we're a little over 4, so it's a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty huge. So no complaints on that.
Yeah. You
All right, so we started talking about it on yesterday's podcast when we shot that, but unfortunately something threw off the camera and it didn't record it. We were only a few minutes into it, but so we were talking about how
it's probably the CIA. They were like, "Oh, this podcast is too cool. We got to shut these guys down. They're so good at this.
We can't let their follower hear that."
Can't let their 27 bot followers hear this.
It's like all of the comments are, "Hello, princess. You're so beautiful."
Looking for an old man to rough me up.
What? I haven't seen those.
No,
No.
You're not on Instagram then, man.
No, I'm not on Instagram at all.
Yeah, it's all just OnlyFans content creators. I shared so for me personally, my account on Instagram is private, but you can like share like sets of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just make a post and you'll tag somebody else in it. They can like choose for it to be on their page too, and like all their followers can see it and stuff. And it kept getting likes from OnlyFans accounts, like OnlyFans bots. And I was like, why is it doing this? My account's private. But one of the other dudes that was on there, his account was public. So it's just like half of the likes are like OnlyFans bots.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. What I have seen is like TikToks and screenshots making fun of like all of the Indian guys commenting. They're like, no one's as bold as a guy who still lives in India commenting on some blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl's photo. He's like, "Hey, baby, you beautiful. Let me marry you." Just absolute insanity.
Shooters gotta shoot.
I mean, you can't be mad at him, but he's like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. He's like shooting fish in a barrel over here. I don't know. So anyways, all right, past all that. So we were talking about the election. Trump obviously won the election. I think, yeah. Am I just breaking this to you?
Yeah, you are.
Spoiler. Didn't mean to throw that one out there. But I think they said Trump spent $200 million running his campaign, and Kamala received $1 billion, as we talked about. And not only did she receive $1 billion, so 5 times more than I think Trump's was. I think his was 200 million, but she also went 20 million over budget, so she owes 20 million dollars. So I think it'd be really fun to try to figure out where Kamala spent $1 billion in her, what was it, 3-month campaign?
Yeah, that was
All right.
it.
So first of all, the one that I'm gonna say in there, they had to have all of those like yard signs that they stick in.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say $20 million for yard signs, because I did see a lot of those on the highway. I know a
Okay.
lot of people bought their own and stuck them in their yards, but I think they stuck a decent amount on the highway. Usually when I saw them, there were like 50 in a row.
Yeah.
So because you know you can't, it takes 50 signs to read Harris Walls
Yeah.
on the sign. So you need
Exactly.
50 of them to kind of like formulate those two words
To
out.
be fair, it does catch your attention when there's 50 of the same thing, so I understand it.
Okay.
I feel like she probably spent about 2 million on dialect and accent training, trying to appeal to everybody. I feel like she spent a lot of money on that dialect training.
Yeah, she did have some cool stuff going on there. I wonder if like she would have the person like on the other side like talking so she could hear them, and then she could like keep it going. Because I'm better in an accent if I hear someone with the accent,
Yeah.
but if I haven't heard it and I'm just winging it, it's usually terrible.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
all right, so I know for sure like hot dogs and tacos. We're gonna put down, what'd you say, $50 million for hot dogs and tacos?
Apparently the tacos weren't very good because Latinos were still voting for Trump. So they kind of needed to get some better tacos. They got the most Tex-Mex white tacos ever.
I
The
I could see
worst
that.
ground up meat. What's like white people cheese?
It's not even meat. What's the stuff that people eat? That's not meat. The vegan stuff.
Oh,
Tofu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tofu
tofu tacos.
Tofu tacos. They've got the string cheese, like the white and yellow cheese. That's what they're putting in there. Got black olives in there.
Hey, that actually, the black olives and the cheese don't sound too bad. The
It's-
tofu, I'm not sold
There
on.
is literally zero spice in that thing.
That was half of their running campaign is if you vote for Kamala, you get one of Tim's tacos. and Kamala's hot dogs.
Yeah. You're eating Tim Waltz's hot dog as he's telling you how to play football, but he doesn't know any of the terminology.
He's like, when I fought in all the wars, I saw there's not a country on this planet that I didn't see active duty in. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Look, I've killed so many foreigners, you have no idea. The amount of war crimes I've committed overseas, it's impressive, honestly.
I mean, to be fair, if you said that, there would probably be some people in our family line who'd be like, "Hey,
I like that guy.
I can relate to this guy."
This Tim Waltz fellow ain't so bad.
All right, so I'm gonna say that she spent $0 paid to McDonald's workers, employees, or the franchise to vouch for the fact that she worked there. Because even though she said that, she got 0 people who could back that up, minus what you told me about, which was one Photoshop photo
Yeah.
of like
$32 for ChatGPT AI program.
which I think we talked about that a little bit. It might have got cut off, but the AI insanity that they were doing in so many of their photos from her rallies early on, because I think towards the end of them they got better, but I think some of her early on rallies were pretty empty, and so they were like AI was photoshopping people in, and if you zoomed in on the photos, they would have like necks that were 3 times as long as they should be, and their hands would like only have 2 or 3 fingers, and arms would like have 2 elbows. It was just doing the craziest stuff. Like, does Elon run AI? Because
Yeah.
that stuff, AI was not getting it right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's gonna look rough. They could have like had an artist like touch it up or something, or literally do anything. Like you could totally do some computer generator thing.
Well, okay, so on that note, I'm gonna give $0 to an artist
Okay.
because I don't think they had that person. Because
Well, I'm actually not gonna give $0 to an artist. I'm gonna give like probably $1 million to the artist because she got Megan Thee Stallion. Who else did she get?
Okay,
She
so-
got a lot of musical artists in there.
I mean to the AI artist who fixes
okay.
stuff,
I
the
got you.
Photoshopper. And in fact, I'm gonna take my 0 back, and I'm gonna do 10. She hired 2 people on Fiverr, one for the McDonald's photo and one to do all of her campaign run photos early on. Yeah, they were definitely some Fiverr deals going on right there. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So to the people that she paid, I'm gonna. What's your number for the stars that she had show up?
Okay, so who does she have? She had Megan Thee Stallion. I remember that one. Who else does she have?
Jennifer Lopez showed up. I don't think she performed. Beyonce showed up. I don't think she performed.
Megan Thee Stallion did like a full concert.
I don't know. If we could just run the Diddy list on the bottom of this right here, those people showed up. Everyone who,
Except for Trump. Trump's on the Diddy list, but
dude, I don't
Hey,
know. Is
he's
Trump on
like-
the Diddy list?
he probably is. Let's be honest, he probably is.
Ah.
He said, yeah, P. Diddy's a great guy, And one of the ladies, he was in an interview, and one of the ladies was like, he's like, no, he's a great guy. He's a really good dude.
I would
love
be
that
interested to
dude.
see that because he was so anti-Epstein, and Epstein and P Diddy seem like they're in the same thing.
That's
which
true.
I'm gonna say, like, even though they did that stuff on the side, it wasn't their entire personality. So maybe Trump didn't know about it. I genuinely don't think he did know about it, because if he did, he probably would have been quick to throw him under the bus. I mean, I grew up listening to P Diddy. I didn't know any of this stuff, so it's crazy that like we all like now watching some of those old videos. You're like, okay, knowing what I know now, I can see the creep factor in there.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
The senior citizen video, have you seen that? I think I showed that one to
no,
you. It's a bunch of senior citizens graduating, and he's like, I know we all got back up to in '69. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. He like licks his lips at all the seniors, and it was so weird, dude.
when you say senior citizen or seniors graduating school,
No, senior citizens. So it was like 60 to 70-year-olds. It was really weird. Yeah.
weird man, yeah.
Super weird,
So
dude.
all right, so we've got the Fiverr money in there. I'm gonna say she spent 50 million paying artists to show up and say vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Well,
50 million and a promise to keep them out of the news on the Diddy list for at least 6 more months,
yeah.
so they can get all their financial affairs in order and then come up with a new personality.
Yep. I think that's probably fair because there were a lot of people, like almost all the Avengers cast. Like I don't know if they probably didn't do it for free. Let's be real. Like maybe they did endorse Kamala for free, but most likely not. So yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I feel like she probably spent $400,000 trying to convince people that she grew up in a middle class family.
I'm gonna
Have
go
you
10 times higher than
10
that,
times higher than
at
that?
least.
Have you seen? So I know you've watched it, but you know The Boys. Do you remember the scene where it's like Homelander and he's got a camera crew and they're going through this like old American household on a farm and he's trying to pretend like he grew up there even though he was made in the lab? That's what it felt like. And he's like walking through all this stuff for the first time. He's like, "Oh, yep, that was my uncle." Like a photo of him. He's like, "Well, that was my bed over there." That's exactly what it felt like.
She's like, I grew up in middle class America in a suburb right outside of a very Republican city. All of my very white neighbors loved having goat curry stew barbecues.
You're not doing any accents. You're doing this wrong. Come on. You gotta get like 4 different dialects in here, bro.
No, I'm not gonna throw those in there. But yeah, I feel like she's never lived in middle America her entire life.
Yeah.
So okay, so anyways, I'm gonna go at least 40 million on that because she pushed that story pretty hard. So we've still got about 800 million to spend. I'm just ballparking that.
Okay. $750 million on buying hard hats to protect her voters from people falling out of coconut trees. That's what I think.
I'm not gonna give all of that to it, but I definitely do think that she did alert the general population to the dangers of falling out of a coconut tree.
Again, that's pretty helpful.
When's the last time before Kamala you thought about the seriousness of falling out of a coconut tree?
Never. But
So-
that is a really serious. If you fall out of a coconut tree, it's gonna hurt you real bad.
Yeah,
So honestly, that's
Yeah.
pretty helpful.
I think that was money well spent.
Money well spent.
So you know what? No complaints on that one. I'm like 10 stars. Money well spent on the hard hats for falling out of coconut trees.
Agreed.
But I don't think it was a full 750. I'm gonna say I think she pocketed about 300 million. Tim probably got like 50 million out of it, and now we've still got like another 350s in there to go. So
Yeah.
$350 million. What could it have gone out on? There's some plane rides, so
Some
like
plane
private jet
rides.
rentals, stuff like that. I'm sure like car movement from here and there. So I'm gonna go like $150 on private jets.
$150.
Yeah,
Nice, because they probably just use Taylor Swift's.
Taylor Swift.
And she's
Yeah,
like, guys, you're using that way less than you should be. You need to be like, can you just like run that thing on the ground like the whole time?
we need to strap it down
Yeah.
and then engines to full.
This climate ain't gonna kill itself. That's all I'll say. All right, we gotta get this thing going a little bit faster. All right.
Yeah, she's using that a lot. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what else Kamala would have spent the rest of it's hard to waste $1 billion in
Yeah.
4 months.
It's pretty
This
tough.
this is a lot harder than she made it look. Okay.
I'm gonna say 50 million on making Joe Biden look dumber than he actually is. Because Joe Biden, after his campaign and all that stuff, he's chilling now. He's like, he gave a speech and it was like almost perfectly coherent. It was like,
Yeah.
dude, what were you doing before?
Yeah, he
Like,
seems like he's maybe doing a little bit better. I'm sure they're probably not pushing it as hard, but I
yeah,
saw him walking in the sand the other day, and he was like
not falling off his bike or
taking that like a
nothing.
trooper. And dude, to be fair, if you guys don't live at the beach and you don't know about walking in soft sand can be tough sometimes.
It
Like
sucks. It's
you
painful,
you
man.
can't not walk in soft sand and look like you're an ape or like you've got like a stub
Or
leg.
yeah,
Like,
you're either gonna look like an ape or Abraham Lincoln. Let's just say that. You're gonna do the Abraham Lincoln gay walk if you're walking in the sand.
what's the
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln gay walk? Can you demonstrate that
I think I'm okay.
for the viewer?
I think that's okay.
Okay, I don't know what it is. So
Yeah. Well, just imagine Abraham Lincoln walking.
I'm picturing it. All I can see is a top hat and like a 5-piece suit, and he's got his hands right here. And
Yeah.
you know, maybe he's like side eyeing the guy that just walked past.
Why? Because he's black.
No, because he's gay.
Oh.
To be fair, I don't think Abraham Lincoln was gay.
I also don't think Abraham Lincoln was gay.
It's fine if he was. I just don't think he was.
Like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, guys. Really, I'm okay with it. Seriously.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Like, it's fine if America's favorite president was gay.
He was
but
he was no doubt progressive for his time. I just don't know that he was that progressive.
I doubt it. Yeah. You ever seen the videos? It's like Captain America waking up and he's like super racist. It's like real Captain America. He's like,
Okay, so that's funny, but also that's like most Thanksgivings in the South.
yeah.
They get together with their family, and there's like always that one old uncle who like is still living in Vietnam in his brain, and he's saying some crazy stuff like that.
He's got like a massive checklist of every different race that he hates. He's like, okay, not a fan of these guys today.
It's all of he's
Guess who cut me off on the highway today? Yeah.
I mean, if we do know who probably cut him off on the highway, how many lanes do they cross at once? Because if it's more than 2, I think we know who it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But yeah. Have you seen speaking of like old stuff, we're not talking about that at all. This is a terrible segue.
Speaking of our next topic,
Yeah. Have you seen like the old like advice videos from the 50s?
about like for women.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
for women.
I've seen ones for women.
Dude, they're insane. There's like a bunch for dating. There's a bunch for just like a bunch of different stuff. Just like little how-to videos. They're hilarious, dude. They're pretty funny. I'm trying to remember the one for women. It was like it told them what kind of socks to wear. It was like wear white socks because they're more friendly.
I can only hope that those were extremists who were making those videos and that was not the norm because yeah, they were absolutely insane. Like I can't imagine treating women that way or children that way. Like it talked about like, you know, the children should leave the dad alone when he comes home and let him stay in his study and drink, and like they're the wife's responsibility, and just saying some crazy stuff like that.
I think
Yeah.
we're talking about different stuff.
Oh,
I think your videos are not fun. My videos are like fun and nice.
are they being
and
real?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
no, they're real videos.
Okay.
But they're just like they were like for high schoolers mostly, but it was just like little how-to advice
Oh,
videos.
but it was nice stuff. Yeah. No, the ones I've seen were like telling women to like the best thing you can do is stay quiet when your husband comes home after a long day of work.
That sucks.
Make sure his food is prepared. Rub his feet. Make sure you pour him his glass of scotch, and you know have
Yeah.
his smoking coat ready.
Yeah, no, my videos are like fun and nice.
Oh, what are yours about?
Yeah,
then?
I try to keep this podcast fun and nice.
No,
That's what I'd like to
I'm
say.
saying I didn't like those videos.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I've just seen a bunch of funny ones. There are ones about how to just like actual useful stuff, like how to eat properly, like how to eat like fancy properly. It talked about like the correct way to put your spoon into soup and stuff. It's just a bunch of weird stuff. And then there was one on like
Wait. What is the correct way to put your soup and spoon?
did I say that?
No, I don't know. But okay, either way,
spoon and soup?
how do you put your spoon in soup correctly?
So you don't just like do it in, you like dip it in one side and then you like sweep it out. That's it.
And then you slurp loudly, right?
Yep, exactly. You slurp super loudly. Make sure you put your tongue on the outside of your mouth. Like try to coil it around the spoon while making direct eye contact with the people around you. That's what you're supposed to do.
And then you go, good soup.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then there were like other ones on like asking a girl out in the 50s, like asking a girl to prom. And it was just like very generic advice. It's like be confident, be sure of what you're gonna say. But it's like helpful stuff. And I'm sure a lot
Interesting.
of them needed it. And it was like, except no. Except if she says no, walk away. It's fine. And if she says yes, then make sure you have everything set up. And then there were a lot of other ones. I mean, like obviously, there were actually a lot about like dressing nice, which was interesting, and a lot of them still hold up today. Like they're pretty. It's like it's not super specific advice. It's like pretty general stuff. It's just like, hey, here's how you not be a bad person and a lazy person and all this stuff. And some of them were kind of goofy. Like they're pretty goofy to look back at now. Like I said, there was that one where it was like, ladies, wear white socks because they're more inviting than darker color socks. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Dude,
Uh,
okay. So I know it's like a thing of the past, but when I grew up, like all socks were white and all underwear was white, and you cannot like get me in a pair of white socks or tidy whities. It's zero chance of that.
Yeah.
As soon as I was old enough to buy my own, like both of those went out the window. I will not wear white socks. I have not owned white socks in probably
I will
20
not wear
years.
them, Sam. I am.
No.
That's what you sound like. Sorry.
No, you're fine. We only have like 2 minutes left because the sun just set,
Oh, did it?
and it set
It
quick.
honestly looks pretty.
Yeah, it
good.
still does. It's gonna get real dark real quick.
There-
All right, guys. Well, the sun is setting here in Utah. What time is it?
It is 5:11.
5:11. So sunsets at 5:11 in Kanab, Utah, and we're on top of a mountain too. Like we're pretty high up. It was dark. We had to drive to the top of a mountain today. So sun setting. It's getting dark. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Tomorrow we'll probably shoot a little bit from somewhere inside Zion or however everybody wants to say it.
Jonion.
The park there, maybe something cool. We'll try to have a slightly more interesting backdrop. This has been, like, it's still a pretty spot, but it's one of the lesser attractive spots that we've been. But man, the drive over here was really awesome. We saw
Yeah.
some really cool stuff. We just weren't in that area when it came time to shoot after we wrapped up at the museum.
But we were in a vehicle, so we would never shoot a podcast in a vehicle.
No, that'd
we were
be
in a
dumb.
truck. That would suck.
Yeah, that
Could you
that
imagine
is-
shooting a podcast in a vehicle?
Who would do that?
Suck. Probably some really stupid people. Probably
I-
some stupid people.
if only we had 4 hours a day where we're driving in a truck that we could shoot this.
Yeah.
You could edit out all of the cursing and screaming at all of the other vehicles. No, that's one thing I will say about here is somehow everybody flies. So almost every road has a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, and everyone's doing 75.
Mhm.
Which on a 2-lane road is impressive. And the interstates here have 75-mile-an-hour speed limits.
Yeah, pretty high.
So, and I will say it is so rare to see a police officer here. I mean, the population is lower than it is in Florida where we live or in North Carolina where we've lived. But man, like you sometimes can drive for an hour and not see a police officer, which is just, or a sheriff or whatever. Just kind of interesting.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I got no hate towards those guys. I appreciate them keeping us safe.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're in an area where you don't need to have that,
If
that's
you're-
also really
yeah,
nice.
that is really nice that they're not as required here, and it's also nice to not be worried quite as much about like getting a speeding ticket. Although I will say, in South Florida, on 75 on the side of the state we live in, everyone does 95 or 100 miles an hour, and the police don't seem to care. So.
The police are doing 120, so it's okay.
Yeah,
Trust me.
They're like on their radios. You got to pick it up.
Yeah, they're texting on their phone whole time.
Yeah, I've definitely seen those dudes typing on their computer
Yeah.
while they're like driving down the road. I don't know, pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, enjoyed it. It's getting a little chilly out here, so we'll pick this up tomorrow at some other cool location. Until then,
Should be good. My name's Davis,
I'm David,
and we're 2 men in a truck,
outside of a truck.
and this is a podcast.